Hey everybody, welcome into another Mystery Fifth Hour presented by McCurry Van and Car Rental, McCurryRentals.com. That is McCurryRentals.com. We appreciate you joining us. And if you're watching us on YouTube, make sure you've subscribed at Next Round Live on YouTube. Give us a thumbs up for this video. Set your alert so you know when we're live. And follow us on all social media at Next Round Live. That is Rockstar in the little box.
I said, damn it. Go ahead.
Jim Dunaway there taking a swig of Dasani water.
Yeah,
from our
technically our
Coca-Cola.
box per space is probably smaller than Rockstar.
Yeah, right.
Since we have three of us in one box, he's by himself in one box.
He's bigger in a smaller box, is Rockstar.
I'm thinking outside of it, too.
Big fish, little sea.
Lance Taylor, as we record this, we are Friday, March 1st. Lance is coming off of dry February, so he is into beer number 2.
Yeah, I'm into beer number 2. It's going down pretty well. Looking
drink good,
forward
don't it?
Yeah, I drink good. We're doing, as we record this, me and Dunaway will be out at the Chili Cook-Off for the Exceptional Foundation, incredible annual event that we do here in Birmingham. So it was tough. I do chili once a week, but doing chili during a dry month was tough because I think a beer, one of the things that people probably don't believe this, they think I just drink to black out or whatever. I love pairing good foods that I really like with different types of alcohol. And I think like a chili with a really good like IPA, you can't beat that.
I was talking to somebody the other day. This is not our topic. We'll get to our topic in a second, but since you brought that up, I was talking to somebody the other day, and he brought up beer, and he was like, I don't really like canned beer or bottled beer, but I love draft beer. He's like, that's really all I'll drink. Like if I'm just out at the golf course or whatever and all there is a can of beer, I'll just drink something else. I love draft beer. And I thought that was an interesting, like I can tell the difference between a fountain Diet Coke and a Diet Coke that's in the bottle. Love them both, but prefer the fountain Diet Coke. I like going and getting crushed ice and put it in a good fountain that's got a good mix.
Yeah, I would go taste-wise if you get a good clean draft, which our taps here, up at the Next Round studio, they are crystal clean. We get them taken care of from our friends at Adams every couple of weeks.
Yeah.
And so if it's a great draft beer that's very from a clean tap, I would put that almost one. Then the can, the bottle to me is last. I've told you guys that before, though.
Yeah, I go draft, bottle, can. I like can the least.
You were talking chili with beer, best food with beer, burger, pizza, or chili?
It is steak. Steak with not with beer, steak and wine. But with
No, but
beer.
with beer.
Pizza probably for me.
Pizza and beer?
Yeah.
Either a burger and beer, barbecue and beer is so good.
Oh, is it like barbecue pork?
Chili and beer. I mean, chili's really, I've done red wine with chili, but I've done bourbon with pizza, and it's actually really good.
Yeah, I never drink bourbon with food. Red wine, love red wine by itself. Red wine with steak, beer with pizza. Other than that, I usually don't drink. When I'm eating. I like to have a Diet Coke when I'm eating, and then I drink beer for entertainment.
I had a health teacher one time. I'll never forget it. High school health teacher said you never drink alcohol while you eat because there's something about the fact that it.
The way it forms with the sugar.
He said like it slows your.
Where's that guy now? Not teaching.
He's retired. It was a good thing. I mean, I think he liked a good cold beer himself.
No, but I think that's like because we've got another friend I was talking to today about going to dinner tonight. And I was like, I just can't wait to have a good glass of wine with a steak.
Yeah.
And he's like, man, I haven't had a beer since NFC AFC Championship. And he's like, I was like, you like drinking to have fun socially, but you don't really enjoy the taste of it if you don't enjoy pairing it with a good food.
All right. Well, that was not our topic. But welcome back to beer, Lance.
Yeah, so I was out
29 days.
Last Friday. I forgot where I went. I had something right after the show.
Lunch right after the show,
I had a lunch after the show, and I was like, I've got a topic that we could throw out for Mystery Fifth Hour whenever I'm back, if you guys want to do it. And it was just what has become kind of a social norm that if you could change it, you would change it. And to me, I'll start with something as simple as a name, and I'll go twofold on this. First of all, my name is Brandon Lance Taylor, which is really stupid. You never name a kid and call them by their second name. It becomes a pain in the ass from school to filling out different forms throughout life. It just gets complicated. If you like the name Brandon and you like the name Lance, just flip it around. It might not flow as good, but trust me, down the road, it's going to work out better for the kids.
So your mom and dad chose that you would be called Lance, but they put Lance in the middle.
Yeah, which didn't make any sense.
Why Brandon?
I really don't know. Nobody told me. I have no idea.
Yeah, because it's not a family name, right?
No.
It's interesting that you would say, what do you want your son to be called? Lance. Well, let's put that one in the middle.
I did hear Lance came from Lance Allworth, the former receiver way back in the day. Bambi?
Yeah.
Now, whether or not that's true, I don't know. But that would be one thing that I want to clear up. You should not be able to name your kid that and call him by the second name.
You shouldn't be able to.
Shouldn't be able to.
It's against the law.
Yeah.
Well, you're James.
These are my rules, Dunaway.
Yeah.
You're James and Jim. Does that ever cause any issues that your actual name is James, but you go by Jim?
No, not at all.
Yeah, but that's more of a nickname, so it's not that big of a deal.
No, James,
legally-
Jim, Junior, both of my kids, we specifically named them their middle names. We call them their middle names.
It's a mistake.
Yeah.
That's what
It's a
I
mistake.
said right next to you. You should have been against the law. Jim.
Traffic cone in that topic.
Here in America, it should be against the law.
Yeah.
But no, both my kids, we go by the middle name.
Well, I mean, what
By
makes
choice.
more sense, calling your kid by the middle name or not being able to, I don't know, legally wager on a game?
Those two things are a lot alike.
I do think there's too much government, and you should be able to legal wager on a game. And
Name your kid anything you want.
big government.
My other one
is
that-
always the downfall of freedom.
So this one goes back to like the 15th century, and this was more, and we know people overseas in Europe, they're very pretentious. And so it was more of a pretentious thing with the aristocrats to have the hyphen in the name. Now it's become a equality issue. You shouldn't have two last names. Two first names, like if you want to do the double up, like we've got an Emily Grace here, that's fine. But you have a last name. You can't have two last names.
Well, you
And-
can if your mom has remarried into someone else, but you love the father of the second one, right? The second person. If you want to be adopted by, and you were born Brandon Lance Taylor, and then say your mom had married someone else, and the last name was McVeigh,
No.
it'd be okay for you to be Brandon Lance Taylor hyphen McVeigh.
Why can't you just respect the guy and your father, your blood was the last name?
Well,
Because it's America. If you want that, you can do that.
It always
This
goes
is
back to
my rules.
America.
I'm actually shocked you don't have a hyphen with whatever Maggie's last name is.
No, but Maggie's middle name, she changed it to her last name. She kept Han and moved that to her middle name
I will
and got
just
rid
say,
of her middle name.
the most difficult women I've ever dealt with have the hyphen in the name, and the easiest guys I've ever had to deal with, and it's not a lot, but guys out there having to decide, okay, so yes, I'll marry you, but we're going to have to decide what the last name is. So like we're either going to flip a coin to keep my name or your name, or you're going to throw a hyphen in.
But there are a number of athletes out there today who have hyphenated last names.
Valdez Scantling being the most.
No, there's a few, and I think there's exceptions to every rule. Like
Chad Baker Mazzara of Auburn, right? Baker Mazzara is hyphenated last name.
yeah,
And
but
there's
sometimes
a
I hear
reason
people
why.
call him Chad Baker. Like that's his
Well,
middle name.
Yeah,
but
but now you're dropping Mazzara,
Yeah.
and there's a reason why those names are hyphenated.
I got to know the name.
in their family.
I got to know the reason though.
Okay, well, let me give you this scenario.
Again, it's my rule, so
Okay, I
I
know
can
it's your rule.
change my rule how
So
I
I'm not
want.
trying to change your name.
Yeah.
I'm
It's
just
Jim's Nation. It's your rule. Let me ask you.
Let me just say one more thing though. If you have a woman that you propose to, and she's like, it comes down to my name or your name, we're drawing, run as fast as you can.
Let me ask you this
after
question.
the drawing or before.
Well, I mean, if you didn't know, if she says that,
yeah. But Rockstar's point: should you wait and see if you won the draw or not?
no.
The fact that there's a
Because it
draw.
won't come back up ever again. I lost. I'm going to deal with it.
All right, let me give you this scenario. Let me give you this scenario on a guy's side. This doesn't happen with a female because you're talking about married females at this point. But on a guy's side, let's say John Brown is born. His dad's a great man and unfortunately passes away serving our country. And his mom remarries and the guy becomes his father basically and loved his dad but raises that son as his own and he wants to honor both guys. I mean, I could see that.
No, special circumstances,
Right,
I
that's
agree.
a circumstance you would
But
agree
I think
upon.
there are certain people that have the dual names, like they didn't even know their dad, so they're keeping their name, and then they're going to adopt this other name. Well, to hell with the guy that left you that you never knew. Why keep his name?
Right. Well,
What
that's
about the celebrity
circumstantial.
like Courtney Cox Arquette? Can she do that?
Well, the problem there. No, I said, look, it's individual.
Yeah, there's
the
always gonna
problem
be
there
exceptions.
is the Arquette is no longer worthy,
It's
right?
not.
So
She's
why
not
not just
Courtney
keep
Cox.
Courtney Cox? And like, if I was a guy marrying into that situation, like our friends, the Willards, like Lauren Sisler, before they actually started dating, she was Lauren Sisler. That's kind of her career name. I don't have a problem with you keeping your career name.
Yeah, you worked in TV with a lot of people that were they had their name set, then they got married, and they kept their name because that's what they. Yeah,
I get that 100%.
Well, that's just when they're on the air.
Right. They go by the actual other name. But,
There's
But if
Stephanie last name, Abby last name on television, but their real life they sign their checks.
Right.
Yeah, but
with their married name.
If you got some chick teaching home ec, and it's Melinda Williams, and she's marrying into Dunaway, and she's like, the name's going to be Williams hyphen Dunaway.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you: if you didn't have three brothers, if it was not 4 Taylor boys, right, and you only had Leighton Taylor, and there was no Jack in the picture. So there's no Jack, there's no Reed, there's no Cameron, and there's none your older brother. I always forget his name.
Shane.
Shane.
Yeah. And it's just you, and then you only have Leighton.
Right.
Now Leighton's getting married, but it's the end of the Taylor family tree if she drops the Taylor last name.
That's the way it is. It's the way it mapped out. I'm not going to get her to hyphen. I would beg her not to do that.
Not that she wanted to do it.
Yeah,
Not
I would
that
tell her
you-
not. I would tell her not to do it.
Okay.
You're on your deathbed, and she's like, "Daddy, I'm getting married, but I'm going to keep the
I'd
Taylor
be
name." You'd be
that's,
like, "Baby, don't do that."
That's sweet. Look at a picture of me
thank
every now
you.
and then. Burn a candle if you want on a birthday.
Yeah, but take that-
But don't do that to your husband. Do not do the hyphenated name.
I'm actually marrying a Taylor. I just want to be Taylor.
Dad, I'm marrying a guy named Tony Hitler.
Oh.
He's not at all related.
So I'm told.
He's Italian German.
Yes.
My
That's true. I did mix those two, didn't I?
Makes pieces on Wiener schnitzels.
ironically, my initial one here was we're losing individuality in America.
This is so great.
These two together are amazing sometimes.
What are y'all doing for 5
because
days next
we're
week?
being forced to have the same politics, the same religious beliefs, same medical beliefs, and we're a country that are built on variety, and we're all pressuring each other now. If you don't believe like me politically or medically or religiously, then you're not right. You're wrong.
It's inspired. I will go with you. It inspired my first tattoo. It was from a George Carlin bit in the 80s about choices, the illusion of choice. He said, you go to a grocery store. He goes, I've gone, and you look at the cat food aisle. There's 197 varieties of cat food. There's 300 choices of cereal for yourself. Political choices, 2.
Yeah, I know.
That matter. 2. And he goes, the things that matter, you have no choice in.
And by the way, we got 350 million people in this country, and we keep coming up with the same 2 guys to run for
And
president.
you have to fit in one of those 2 molds.
Oh, it's crazy.
You got to,
Yeah.
if you want to be somebody.
In any of those categories, if you're not with the norm of the people, wherever you live or whatever, then you are considered to be dumb, not patriotic, against America. There's a variety of those. But my non-serious one, but also serious, is technology. The norm in technology is why are we, the driverless car thing, why are we so urgent to change things that are not broken? As long as we're going to have cars, let's have drivers.
I'm with you on this.
Drivers of cars.
Yeah.
There are other things we can solve.
Vinyl is so much better than everything else. Why I should be able to carry milk crates of vinyls as opposed to having a phone that has everything on it.
Yeah, that's
Well,
more.
I think we've learned, though, that the streaming is better than music than the vinyls are.
2 of my brothers, you got one right, Cameron, and the other one, Shane, drive Teslas, which I think that is a weird segment of our population that drive Teslas. And I'm like, why do you like the Tesla? Well, because it drives so good.
Yeah.
But they get into this argument, well, it drives itself. Well, if it drives so good, you want the driving experience. Why in the hell do you want it to drive yourself?
That's a
like,
great
I'm the guy
question.
that should like the Tesla because I don't like to drive.
Yeah.
By the way, a Tesla pulled out in front of me coming to work yesterday.
Oh, and they're ugly.
Driverless?
He actually pulls out in front of me, and I have to brake in my Alfa Romeo, right? Which is a pretty darn good car.
That's Italian made.
And it can get up and go, by the way.
That's right.
So I'm cruising it a little over the speed limit. He pulls out to where I have to brake, almost spilling my coffee.
Should have hit him.
Okay, but then he hits, what's it called? The nitro or whatever button they have.
Ludicrous.
Ludicrous. It hits the ludicrous.
yeah.
Boom. So on this 30 miles per hour, he
flip
goes,
one?
shoo.
Yeah.
He flies away from me for about 50 yards. Because at that point, I kick my Alfa Romeo
His
in.
charge is low.
And at that point, I'm close to him
Right.
in his little nitro or whatever he hit, and we go braking hard into the red light in the school zone. And I'm right behind him. I'm like, dude, you hit anybody you want. I'm right here with you now.
You got me going now. I think I'm going to do
Proved your
away with
point.
electric cars. EVs are done.
Yeah.
That's another societal room that I'm jumping on right now.
No hyphen last names.
And no EVs. That's
No
going to
EVs.
knock out one segment of the population
Yeah,
right
really.
there.
Hey, and by the way, we don't have enough of the battery stuff in our country. We're going to have to rely on China.
No, we're going to bury those batteries.
lithium.
Yeah.
And everybody's talking about what the emissions do to the environment and stuff. Wait till we bury about a century worth of batteries.
I don't understand why battery power
Hopefully it turns into oil.
I don't understand why battery powered. Yeah, it's true because we're going to need that. Why battery powered cars have to look ugly? Like,
I know.
why can't they just make them look like an actual gas
Because we're
powered car?
eclectic. We're different. We're not
It is
like
so.
what
It's
you
so
used
weird
to.
to me. Like, I mean, I'm not necessarily against a battery power. I'm not for or against a battery powered car. I haven't thought about
But
it.
you're right, they're ugly.
But they all look different. Like, why do you not make it look exactly like the gas powered version? It just runs on battery.
But just to be clear, if you want to have a driverless car, so be it. I just don't understand why
You know
we're
why?
rushing to the
Right.
driverless car.
You know why?
Why?
Because this is America.
That's right.
Feel
Jim
free.
Dunaway's America.
Feel free to have one.
Yeah.
I just don't know why we're rushing to it.
I don't want to jinx myself. I don't recall ever hitting an animal, but these driverless cars, both of my brothers within a month have hit an animal in their driverless car.
Or they weren't driving. Like the Tesla
Hands were
was
not on
driving
the
for
wheel.
them. Hands were not on the
Yeah.
wheel. And it hit an animal.
Yeah, I think they might have got the hands on the wheel in time or whatever, but they
see,
both hit animals.
But you realize we're to the point now where I've had 3 friends now who have gone, I think, to Arizona and have posted in their timeline on Instagram of them getting into an Uber that does not have a human in the driver's seat.
So it just came to pick them up.
It just came to pick them up. It was just a car, and they got into an Uber
Too scary.
without another human being in there.
But what happens if they hit into a pedestrian? Who's responsible?
Apparently, it will stop.
Well, apparently,
And
okay,
then
a key word in that
you
sentence.
sit in the car.
No,
Am I held responsible if I get out at that
I'm not
point
saying
and
you,
run?
but is the company responsible?
Oh yeah. So
yeah.
I don't know if you've seen that Black Mirror episode where the self delivery pizza is going around. It hits a guy. It's another story, but they are on the hook for that.
Yeah. That's just, who's that blamed?
I would think that, whoever.
company?
Yeah.
I mean, here's the thing, too. Like, we had Brandon Marcello on the show the other day, and we were talking about RoboCop. So Jack had never seen RoboCop, so we went back and watched it. Their first prototype comes in, and it goes off the rails, ends up killing a guy right there in the board meeting. And that's because there are going to be mishaps. I would rather have a
Yeah,
mishap with a
glitch.
real driver
That's right.
than
Yeah,
a
dude.
mishap with your EV driverless car
You
taking
got
me
to
into a
download
ditch.
the update. We're going to be fine. The update's got everything figured out.
So when I order my Uber, does it tell me it's going to be a driverless
No,
car?
I think I don't
They
know.
didn't
I've
pay
never
attention
been in
to
a
that?
city that
Yeah.
has that. All I know is it has become the thing you post on TikTok and Instagram
Yeah.
if you're in one of these, because they're like, it is so weird. I just got into my Uber and look. And apparently you choose what music is playing. So I'll just sit here and jam out. But it's so weird that I'm riding by myself. Can I sing along out loud to this song since I don't have a driver?
I do have a rule that I don't want girlfriend, daughter, any girl close to me getting in an Uber at night and going somewhere by themselves. I would rather them get in the driverless car
Yeah,
by
in that
themselves.
situation.
Which, by the way, could be hacked by somebody in China
maybe.
or Saudi Arabia and
China.
can direct it to somewhere else they want them to go.
Yeah, I feel totally comfortable getting in an Uber by myself. I would not want to get into a driverless Uber, but if it was the flip side, would you rather Anna Kate get in one with a driver by herself or driverless?
If given those two choices at night, I'd rather her be in a driverless than one with a driver.
too.
I would agree. But one of the most awkward Uber rides I ever had, it was me, my oldest daughter, Anna Kate, my wife, in Nashville. The guy that came and picked us up was in a Tesla and had no music on. Like when we got in the car, no music is on. So the whole drive is...
Did y'all not awkwardly talk?
I finally did. Like for whatever
you
reason...
guys like mayonnaise?
for whatever reason, Jennifer and Anna Kate just clammed up. So I asked the guy, I was like, hey, how you like Nashville? No, it's fine, sir. Like he was like a non-talker.
How you
I'm
like
"Geez."
terrestrial radio?
Yeah, I mean, can we listen to? I don't even care what the music is. Just turn something on. It's super awkward.
No, I'd rather have silence than some of the music I get.
You don't like? You'd rather them talk on the Bluetooth on their phone, going, "We
I
gotta
hate
get you
that
back
too.
to the
Yeah.
do
I
that,
do-
the
The most uncomfortable is like you'll get in and you'll have like some kind of I don't even know what the language is.
No, that was it. The most uncomfortable ride
Yeah.
for me ever. I was by myself. I'd gone to see Charles Barkley after Watch Your Toes. I'm name dropping. After Auburn had lost in the semifinals. Yes, he double dribbled up in Minneapolis, which is known around the country as its very heavy Middle Eastern and sometime radical Middle Eastern community up there. And my Uber driver, by myself, from the closing bar that Chuck was at all the way back out to Mall of America, was with an Uber driver from the Middle East. And it was speaking in a language, and I swear, I think occasionally I didn't understand anything, death to Americans, death to Americans. Now, I was crap-faced drunk. Yeah.
You should have just broken
all the way home. But
small talk. Like, hey, what do y'all got going down over there? What the
but
hell's
I
wrong,
promise
guys?
you, I thought I heard "Death to America" twice on the drive.
Hey, that's another thing.
Hey, freedom, man, it's America. So,
I don't know if you can agree with this one. This is not. You should not have your choice of this or not. But if you are in public transit, if you are a guy that is operating an Uber or a taxi, you should be required. Personal hygiene should be part of it. You should have to shower on a regular basis. You should have to wear deodorant. And if not, then you're not in that business.
That should be on your rating system. It should go on your rating. Like, how was my presentation?
I was getting an Uber to the airport. I don't remember when it was, but it smelled so bad in the car. And I felt bad about giving him a bad review.
Yeah.
So I couldn't decide what to do. And I think it's the first time I ever went 4 out of 5 stars.
Didn't we have a bad one in California for the?
Yeah, there was one that had a scent to him. Yeah. I always I sit in the front, like if there's a group, because I always try to strike up conversation because I find people fascinating. And, you do have a lot of people that have immigrated to the United States that end up as Uber drivers. And I always like to ask them where they're from, why they immigrated to the United States. And then I always hit them with, boy, isn't it great over here? And I am telling you, it's 10 out of 10. They're like, man, the United States is so incredible.
Yep.
I've never had an Uber driver be like, you know what?
Nope.
I really thought America was going to be great, but it sucked. I'd really like to go back.
Working their own schedule, making more money than they ever thought they would make.
I'd like to go back where we had no food. We were throwing rocks at each other. That's really where I'd like to go.
Have you thought
back
about packing a deodorant and say, you know what, this American product is one of my favorites.
It's pH balance for women.
But strong enough for an Uber driver.
I can't remember. We were on another one in Nashville, and I had a long conversation with this guy. Was a talker. And my wife and daughter were like, I can't believe you said that much to him. I'm like, the guy just wanted to talk, man. He was telling me how great America was. He was from Egypt. I'll never forget he was from Egypt. And I said, Cairo? And he's like, yeah, how'd you know? I was like, that's the only city in Egypt I know. It's Cairo.
Yeah.
Well, you're from the United States where?
New York.
Oh, my God.
I didn't have a number 2. Rocky, what do you have, man?
I was just going to comment. I don't really have.
Well, I've got one that I've stolen from you. And the cultural norm that has got to change is anytime anything crazy happens, the immediate reaction of so much of society is whip out their cell phone and start recording rather than to jump in and help. Like somebody's wailing away on somebody, beating them up, or somebody's falling through ice. Everybody just immediately starts videoing. It's like become our instant reaction before we do anything else. Now,
it's the theory.
It gives us great content.
That's why it's viral.
Yes.
I want to be viral.
I know.
I want to be the guy that.
Yeah, but whoever gets credit for it, like I never think to take my cell phone out in that situation. Like if I saw somebody on fire, I would hope that I would get a blanket and throw it over them, or a jacket. If somebody was choking, I would hope that I would go over there.
But how many videos do you look at that?
Oh yeah, you watch them all the time.
I watch them.
You're the person that those people aren't saving the lives for. They're shooting these things.
Yeah, but you don't get any credit. Like that's what I'm saying. Like I don't know who shoots the videos. I watch it because it comes to my algorithms. But there's like 7 different people shooting the same shot.
Well, the thing was, do you remember when those political baseball game where the shooter came and shot?
Yeah.
And you remember one video came out. A guy was down on his knees ducking, but he turned his phone on and was filming.
Oh, guy's fighting for his life.
All you could hear were gunshots. And it's like, that is not on my mind. Like, I got to get some of this.
But I swear there are people out there that if they came up on some guy burning, there are people that would have to decide, should I video it or should I help the guy? And I'm like, how is this even a discussion anymore?
Yeah, and my point, although I do watch a lot of those algorithms or videos that come based on my algorithm, I would never have the thought to pull out my phone. Like I've seen some crazy shit go down in front of me, but I've never pulled my phone out.
Yeah, it's not my first inclination.
Me either.
Yeah, I guess I just assume somebody else is going to be videoing it.
Yeah,
but I do sometimes like the content
or the Ring doorbell, or
I think I would get burnt. Like if Bigfoot, if he ran in here right now, like I wouldn't be like, holy shit, let's get Bigfoot. I'd just be like, oh my God, there's Bigfoot.
It's Bigfoot.
I wouldn't be able to unlock my phone and get the like. By the time I did it,
have him stand next to Melton. They are close.
Oh, I would say if we see Bigfoot, he's not going to be bigger than Melton. Yeah. He's not.
I mean, it's going to be tight.
I've only seen Melton by himself and Bigfoot by himself. I've never seen them together.
Oh, Jim makes a good point. We don't have the photo of Melton with his arm around Bigfoot. We're going to need that.
You remember they told you as
and
a
I will
kid?
tell you, he gets mad when I eat beef jerky up here.
That's some good stuff. Thanks for Monica.
Remember, you're never supposed to get in a fridge, like an abandoned fridge, when you were a kid, because the
I
oxygen.
don't come across those very
Well,
often.
you wouldn't have to worry about that one. Melton could not fit in a fridge.
No, he could not.
He cannot. Barely fits on the Lego chair.
Big guy. Hey, Melton. How are you? Hey, that's going to do it for the Mystery Fifth Hour. It's presented by McCurry Van and Car Rental. If you need a car, van, or truck, I'm sure they're all got drivers there. They're not driverless. McCurry Van and Car Rental, the local rental company you can depend on. All kinds of vehicles to choose from, including trucks, SUVs, and passenger vans. They make it easy. Athens, Muscle Shoals, Huntsville, Coleman. They're on 2nd Avenue Northwest at Skyland Boulevard in Tuscaloosa. Reserve your rental today, 256-559-1003 or McCurryRentals.com. That's 256-559-1003 or McCurryRentals.com. Please give us a thumbs up. If you have not subscribed to our YouTube channel, do it and set your alerts so you know when we're live. Follow us on all social media at Next Round Live. Thank you for joining us for the Mystery Fifth Hour.